Hello everyone. So we'll just wait for 1 minute to have people join and then we'll start.
So do you see people connected, Rita?
Yes, I can see views going up. I think we'll just start.
Sure.
Okay, so hello everyone. Welcome to today's talk. Before introducing our keynote speaker, I'm just gonna first introduce AY Alumni Tech Talks. So if you don't know yet, AY Alumni Tech Talk are a series of webinars organized by the School of Science and Engineering at AUI in collaboration with IEEE Women in Engineering and Arab Women in Computing. And we organize different talks, and for each talk we have a different AUI alumnus or alumna working on in the tech field, presenting a different topic. And today we're honored to have with us Mr. Mehdi El Khachia, who is a senior expert in the project management field with over 14 years of experience. He graduated from AUI with a Bachelor in Computer Science in 2006, and later with a Master of in Business of in Business of the Master of Business Administration in 2011. He is a certified project management professional and is currently a project director at Capgemini. We will have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. You are welcome to have your questions on the chat, to write your question on the chat, and we will, Mr. Mehdi El Khachia will answer them either during or at the end of the talk. So with no further ado, I'll leave you with our keynote speaker, and thank you.
Thank you, Rita. Thank you for the nice introduction, and thank you for Al Khawain for this invitation to be part of this series of talks. I'm really honored to share with you within 1 hour some of what I have learned in terms of process transformation through intelligent automation. So thank you again, and just feel free to, as Rita said, to write your questions And meanwhile, I will try to answer some of them, or by the end of the session, we'll try to cover most of the questions. So let me first of all introduce in a couple of words Capgemini, the group Capgemini, and basically the scope under which I work today. So Capgemini Group is a multinational business firm that is located in more than 50 countries worldwide. You can clearly see Morocco as well. So in Morocco, we are based in Casablanca and Rabat, and we are around 1,700 people delivering services basically for the French scope. So the group Capgemini is located, as I said, in more than 50 countries. We are around 270,000 people worldwide working as one team, and our services are basically delivered in most of the sectors, known sectors, financial ones, public sector, services, telecommunication, consumer goods and retail, energy, and manufacturing, automotive, and life science sector. We have we had a global revenue of 17 billion back to 2019. And you have here some of the business sub-brands, Capgemini sub-brands, Altron, Capgemini Invent, Sogeti, and others, sub-brands related to Capgemini. We do have also the Capgemini Research Institute, which is recognized as of the first one worldwide, and ranked the first during the last 5 years. And the purpose of this research institute is to conduct some studies, some analysis on some businesses, on some specific areas, and bring, highlights, key figures to our industry, and help us, of course, shape or better shape our services. So this is regarding Capgemini globally. And I am part of the global business line called Business Services, under which we provide basically the topic I'm going to cover today, which is process automation through intelligent automation. And this global business line has more than 24,000 professionals working worldwide. And we have more than 140 clients in more than 100 countries. You can see some of the references, some of the key customers for whom we delivered business services in different areas, different sectors. So let us now jump to the topic, today's topic. So of course, the industry today has evolved and changed, and is getting to new topics. Back, a few years back, we used to talk about, cost cutting, offshoring some of the activities of our business, how we can use some digital platforms, how we can automate some of the processes based on well-documented, documents, processes, how we can make this automation based on this documentation. We used to talk about some of the chatbot usage, how we can make chatbots delivering services based on some intelligence. And now this, all of this, I would say, assets or technologies are getting, are evolving, are changing, and had to adapt to the new customer requests, to the new business requirements. So how these assets are getting into, I would say, a real usage or real benefits for the clients. Before answering the question, before going into some details, I think it's good to just remind and explain what is the difference between intelligent process automation and robotic process automation. I think Most people know and are very familiar with the RPA term, which is robotic process automation, for which we actually based our automation on some specific documentation of the process. The moment we have the process, we try to document in a very well way this process, and based on every step in the documentation, we come up or we try to automate these steps in the process. Thanks to some tools, we can talk about some applications that help us automate these steps, but nothing further. So I can give you one example. The way, for example, we process some invoices. So how we process an invoice, it's very clear. We have step A, step B, C, and so on and so forth. And based on these steps, we can come up with a tool that can automate without having human intervention or a human doing that job, a human being doing the job. We can have, some scripts executing these steps. They can access an application, get the data, check the content of the data, and based on the content, they can trigger the right, not behavior, but the right action after that. So this is basically RPA. So today we are talking beyond RPA. We are talking about intelligent automation. So intelligent automation, it doesn't focus, at initial scale on the technology. No, we are focusing first of all on the process itself. So we're trying to see how we can, analyze this process, understand how it works, but how we can improve it, how we can optimize the process, how we can drive or conclude some intelligence out of this process before going into the right technology. And let me take you more into some details. But here, so intelligent process automation allows you to automate non-routine tasks. So it's very important to take into consideration or to note this difference. RPA, we automate basic tasks. In intelligent automation, we are going beyond these basic tasks. We are talking about some intelligence there, how we can automate intelligent actions that need some thinking, some analysis before, taking the right action. So based on this, we talk about transforming processes. So how a transformation journey might look like. Before talking about the transformation journey, it's good to remind what is transformation, how we can define transformation. So you can clearly see it is highlighted here. Transformation in the organizational context, a process of profound and radical change. So we cannot talk about transformation if we are not intending to have a radical change, an impact on the organization. We are talking about also, stopping whatever we had as an old practice and trying to avoid to have any resemblance with the past as well. So we are bringing new practices, new processes. What do I mean here as well? So it's not only a question of bringing new habits, new practices, but also changing mindsets. So transformation won't happen if we don't change the mindset as well, so that they can adapt to this new way of working, for instance. Digital transformation, for instance, which is a typical transformation project we hear a lot and about nowadays, is the integration of digital technology into all areas of a business. We can talk about digital transformation for finance activities, for HR activities, for supply chain activities, and at any other level of the business. And of course, in this culture of transformation, we need to be open and all the time to failure, because we are experimenting new way of working, new ideas, new projects. So failure is there all the time, but we have to change and to adapt to this culture. And based on that, we are able to experiment so many ideas, test them, and come up with the right ones that can be working for our business. Of course, sometimes we aim when we talk about transformation and cutting, whatever old experience we have, we talk about a dramatic improvement in performance. We can hear about some of successful projects, successful stories about transformation that changed performance by more than 50%, reduced the cost by more than 80% sometimes. So yes, transformation is there. And while we are talking about transformation, I think the natural answer for this question is we are talking about it everywhere. So if you take any newspaper, some of the headlines are all the time talking about transformation, about automation even. So why we are talking about automation? Automation is everywhere. When we talk about productivity, the first thing we think about is how we can automate some of the tasks to improve our productivity. In terms of pricing, to reduce the costs, how we can automate some of the tasks. From people side, how automation today impacts people. Are we saying that automation is, killing job opportunities for people or not? How, people should, upgrade their skills today to cope up with the automation threat, for example. And the same thing for the market side, automation. We talk a lot about artificial intelligence and how it can impact some of the business revenues. Stock markets is today much related to artificial intelligence. So automation, transformation is everywhere. So before moving into I would say, intelligent automation, I would like just, people who are listening and watching us to remember these key points, actually, when we talk about transformation. Every transformation is different. So we need to keep in mind, we cannot say we did it somewhere this way, we can do it the same way in this context or in this project. So every transformation should be managed as a single and different project. Sometimes we talk about assets that enable us to conduct this transformation. I will be sharing some of Capgemini assets that we propose to our clients, but the point here is that the same assets may be used in different way in different scenarios. We cannot, let me give you one example, I will be explaining, is the way we analyze, for example, processes. We have our own tool that enables us to understand the processes, to bring the best-in-class processes, but this tool can be used differently depending on the type of the project, the type of the sector we are talking about, and so on. And of course, the assets can be applied to every client, regardless of the maturity, type of business, and or transformation stage. So the good news here is that transformation is applicable to any business, any type of business, any type of processes, any type of client. So this is the key point. And of course, the moment we talk about transformation, we cannot say we ended the transformation phase. No, transformation never ends. It's a continuous process all the time. The moment you are saying, I have finished my transformation project, it means that you are starting the end of your business. So you have to keep up, you have all the time transformation initiatives and monitoring as well of the market trend and so on. Now let's talk a little bit about intelligent process automation, and I will also take you through some of the assets. But you need to understand today there is huge potential, huge number of opportunities there for people who would like to, get into this field, into this business. Because data is saying today that only, less than a third of organizations currently promotes data-driven decision-making by applying artificial intelligence into these processes to improve the customer experience or to use artificial intelligence in operations. So this is to say there is a huge market potential for artificial intelligence, for intelligent automation. So people, this is huge opportunity for you if you are interested, to step in and to learn more and more about these technologies, this type of, assets, this type of projects. So what is artificial intelligence? Just a quick reminder, artificial intelligence actually is a set set of capabilities and behaviors by systems that try to, to do the same thing as human beings, just to put it in a very simple way. So we try to have some kind of human intelligence implemented within some robots, some scripts, and some applications. So we can see here what artificial intelligence is including. It's include actually automation and robotic process automation. It includes some business application, business model innovation, and data and analytics. So, the four criteria enables us to provide artificial intelligence services. On the other side of the screen, you can see how artificial intelligence can be implemented or can be used. It can be implemented using natural language. So you can see here, for example, whatever chatbot and voice bots are using. Sometimes when you get into some websites, connect to some websites, you spend 5-6 seconds, and then you have a chatbot talking to you. How can I help you? And then you can put something, and based on some, I would say intelligence developed within that bot, he's able to answer your queries. He can. Today we are talking about some, chatbot that are able to read the emotions of people. You might be activating the camera, and they are reading your emotions based on your behavior, the way you are looking to that answer, the tone of your voice as well. So this is one example. Artificial intelligence can be used using some of the vision features. I talked about the camera, for instance. Rule-based automation technologies. So here, based on some algorithms, and this is how we build the intelligence for some specific robots. So we have so many cases to cover there, and this is how they can behave based on this algorithm. And we talk about machine learning. So machine learning actually is the way a machine can build up its own intelligence, based on several experiences, several transactions, several algorithms. It can build its own, learning platform. And this is what we mean by machine learning. So what is intelligent process automation? So this is enhancing business operations with automated end-to-end processes, employing workforce augmentation, and underpinned with RPA, artificial intelligence, and analytics. So what do we mean by intelligent process automation? Is the gathering or the merge of the three features here. First of all, RPA, of course, robotic process automation, some analytics skills, capabilities, of course, and some artificial intelligence. So the combination of the three gives us what we call today intelligent process automation. Now, the question you might be asking is how? Well, first of all, how we can bring this intelligent process automation. Again, please never think about technology at a first step. No, the early step or the very early step, the first step is to understand the processes that we would like to automate. And to understand these processes, I will show you here how, for instance, Capgemini is trying to analyze these processes. We try to come up with what we call the 5 senses. So we can see here a kind of mapping of the 5 senses to the way we classify or we organize the processes, the client processes. So today we say that there are some processes that has some an objective to interact, okay, to interact with the customer, to talk with the customer. There are some processes that have some objective or specific objective of monitoring, monitoring some applications, some deliverables, and so on. And this is related to the watch sense. There are some processes that can be classified as service processes. You can see in my slide some of the examples. And there are some processes that can or that has as objective to analyze some specific actions or some specific areas in the business, and this is related to the thinking, sense. Then we have knowledge, which is remember. We classify these processes as remember processes, and here we talk about knowledge management. Whatever process is related to the knowledge management in the business. So connecting these senses, the 5 senses you can see here, create the foundation and platform to deliver intelligent automation. Let me show you how today we are trying to shift these processes from a specific focus today to a new focus while we deliver this intelligent automation. So today the data is saying most of our client, let's say, processes, they turn around the service processes. We don't spend much time, documenting, talking about some processes related to the monitoring activities, to the knowledge activities, to the interaction activities, or even analysis. Most of our processes are directly, related to the service side, what we provide as a service. So we try to put much focus on that. So the added value from intelligent automation today is to see how we can reduce, this effort on services, meaning that we try to maybe robotize, automate most of them, and keep the focus on the other areas as well. 50% on the talk processes, interaction processes, 20%. You see here, we are going from 1%, processes doing the monitoring stuff to 20%. Number of processes. The same thing for the knowledge, increasing from less than 1% to 15%. Knowledge management is very fundamental, very important. And same thing for analysis processes. So the shift is going from this picture today to this one. So how we do implement actually this these 5 senses, I would say, process mapping. We change everything in terms of conducting the workshops with the client. Initially and traditionally, we used to have the client in a meeting room. Okay, we ask the client to bring please all the processes that you have, and we try to start looking at these processes, the volume every process is processing in the firm, and then we calculate the time that every process consumes, and so on. So this can take 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, depends on number of processes the client has. And at the end of this journey, we come up with what we call the process maps. These are all the process maps and how they are connected to each other. Some documentation about every process, some procedures related to these processes. And the result is what actually you can guess. So we are just, bringing whatever the client already has, and changing a little bit the way we are displaying this document. And that's it. There is no big change. There is no challenge on these processes. And we can say to the client, okay, this is the process that you have at procurement department. I suggest you to implement a specific tool that can, process all of these steps of the process. And that's it. So there is no added value. Sometimes we don't challenge the process itself. Sometimes some of the processes are redundant. Some of the processes, they have some, unnecessary steps that we can eliminate from the process, and so on. So this is the traditional way. It brings no added value for the client, no big change. There is no transformation here. We all agree on this. We cannot talk about a transformation. We can talk about some little or light changes, but not a transformation. So on the other hand, we approach change today, and this is how we conduct our workshops for intelligent automation. First of all, we try to scan some of the processes. We take some of the client processes, we scan them. What do I mean by scanning them? Is reading the data from every process, trying to understand every data, every input and output from these processes. And what we do actually, and this is where intelligent automation becomes interesting, we try to map every process to what we call best-in-class process or best-in-class inspiration. We do have let's say, a tool, a register, between brackets, a Bible of processes where we can, compare every process to its equivalent in terms of best in class. What do I mean here? Is that I can take a finance process, for example, accounts payable process, how the firm is processing this process itself, and how best in class process is today. And based on that, I can tell my client, you have to reduce your process, you have to optimize it, you have to eliminate this step in your process, and you have to automate, for example, the last step in your process using this specific tool. So this is what we mean by scanning and comparing. We give a client his process, this is the process, and this is the best-in-class process. Please, you need to adapt, to align to the best-in-class process for a specific reason, because this is coming from market trend, from the best clients on the market. So this gives an idea to the client how they should, how he or the client should be, changing, adapting, optimizing the process. Then we have a second step, which is called focus step, understanding the process itself, and the top challenge is asking the 5 senses targeted questions. Remember, I was talking about the 5 senses. Now, whatever process was scanned from the client, we try to put it in the right sense. Is it an interact process? Is it a knowledge process? Is it a monitoring process? And so on. One of the 5 senses. And based on this classification, we are able to act, to bring solution, to apply automation first to the mapped activities. Why we do this classification also, this is important to know, because every sense we have a related technology in the market that can do or deliver that. So you see how easy it becomes now. I take a process, I map it to a specific sense, and I know that I have a specific or some specific tools that provide automation better than others for this kind of processes. So this is a kind of intelligence we are bringing. It's not a question of going directly to the right technology. No, we go through steps before stepping into the right automation technology. I can give you some examples how to ask the right questions. As to map to the right, sense, but also to figure out, is it interact, monitor, knowledge, analyze, or service process. So here, for example, for whatever process is related to interaction sense, we ask what do you communicate, how do you communicate, what technology you use, what is the client expectations, what are the key pain points to resolve. This is typical questions for whatever process was mapped as interact. Other questions we ask for the monitor sense, for example, how do you monitor the process? How to do you ensure the quality? What technology you use? What is the client expectations, and so on. So I can take you through all the details, but the point here is that by asking these typical questions, we get the right action to do or to implement for the automation, of course. So automation first approach and thinking, what is the possible automation that addresses the current pain point for each of the senses? And as I told you, there are specific tools that can be mapped to every type of the senses. And I will show you one concrete example. So at the end of the journey with the client, this is how our map might look like. So whatever here is mapped as interact process is here in the interact place. You can distinguish some of the logos, some of the tools that are proposed to implement this process. Here, this is Power BI, Microsoft tool to implement whatever is related to business intelligence, BI services. We have UiPath or transversal for whatever is monitor processes. For example, analyze processes, we propose smart analytics, we propose ARIA as a tool, and so on. So this is the purpose, this is the idea. By mapping processes to a specific sense, we are able to make the link with the right technology or the right tool to implement or to automate that process. I'm sharing here with you some of some of the pictures coming from workshops to drive this 5 senses mapping in a collaborative workspace. Very interactive, very interesting, and motivating also for the clients. The way it is conducted, it brings added value. It's a new way of thinking as well. It's a collaborative thinking. So this is one example. If I take the procurement process, the procurement department, we try to map all the processes according to the 5 senses from procurement side. There are some processes that are related to interaction with the users. Here we propose Odigo as a solution. Odigo, for your information, this is a firm specialized in providing chatbot services, automated, the bots that can interact automatically with people, with users. So this is one solution we propose at the interaction level. The service level, we propose Tradeshift that has also specific automation features related to service processes. Analyze, we have many solutions. I talked about Power BI, but here in the specific case, we propose the prompt solution, for example, because your added value when you work as a consultant in this domain is to bring the right solution to the right process. Sometimes, and this is a huge mistake I have been, getting or even witnessing in some of the clients' scope, we buy a huge tool. I can give example of ServiceNow as a tool, ticketing tool. ServiceNow is an expensive tool, of course, but it has so many features there. And sometimes some client, they buy ServiceNow, for very, limited scope, just to process tickets. Whereas you can have a very cheap solution to implement ticket processing. If you don't need some intelligence there, some automation, some advanced reporting as well, then you can go for ServiceNow. You can invest on ServiceNow. But for just ticketing processing, limited, I would say, way of working, you can go for a much cheaper, I would say, solution than ServiceNow. So here, this is your added value. You're trying to bring the right solution, the right technology for automation based on the type of the process here, the 5 senses again. So again, or to say it differently, intelligent automation, you have to follow the following steps to come to bring this added value I'm talking about. First of all, we talk about document to data. Here, I'm just giving you another way of seeing this transformation journey with the client. Document to data is the first step. So here we ask this kind of question: what are the key challenges of digitalizing the documents? We take all the client documents and we try to figure out what are the challenges, what are the eventual problems or blocking problems, and so on. So this is the first step. And of course, by reading this data on the document, we are able, to get some inputs for the next step, which is data to process. How we can get some relevant information from these processes. For process mining, to explain it quickly, process mining is an approach actually to scan, to read, to analyze the process and get all the data from the process. This is process mining. What do we get from every process? So how process mining fits into SOR approach, and I will explain shortly what is SOR. Can we use process mining to identify SOR opportunities? So SOR is a transformation methodology proposed by Capgemini today to, whenever we have a process, we try, to follow this methodology to see if we can eliminate some activities within that process. For example, sometimes, and this is very frequent, we have so many levels of approvals. It should be approved at this level, then at the level higher, and so on and so on, which is sometimes unnecessary. Why do we have to do all of this? So can we eliminate some of these approvals? So this is eliminating some of the activities. We talked about standardization of processes. When we work with clients worldwide, multinationals, sometimes, and it's very amazing how they process their finances. The financial processes are totally different in every region. It's not the same thing. If I take, I don't want to mention a specific client name, but some well-known brands, if you go into their financial processes, the way they process in Morocco is totally different from the way they process in France, the way they process in US, totally, which is a total mess. Huge money is lost there. And based on what I'm saying here, we can standardize. So we sit with the client and we bring the best-in-class process, and we help the client to deploy this process worldwide in all the countries. We talk about optimization, so optimizing the existing IT landscape to maximize its capabilities. I just gave the example of ServiceNow. You don't buy huge tool, to implement very limited scope. We talk about automation and robotization. The difference between the two, automating some of the processes, is like what we do thanks to some applications. In Excel, for instance, you can automate some of the tasks. Whenever there is this action, please, you do this action. You can use some scripts to automate some of the processes. There are some applications that helps you automate also some reporting. You can automate the generation of reporting. You can automate the email notification. We are familiar with. Robotization, on the other hand, is how we can, make the manual activities as robotized, made by robots, or what we call bots. So this is the transformation methodology that Capgemini proposed at initial stage also for some of the processes. And here is the process mining using the SOR as well. So process mining, it's like if you are taking, a huge process and you are trying to split all the steps, decompose all the activities and see what kind of data you can get out of this process. So this is process mining. You conduct some detailed analysis. So these are consultants who are experts, for example, in finance. If I'm talking about optimizing financial processes, I have a consultant in finance, who is familiar with this data and can bring some analysis. And we conduct the SOR methodology I just explained. We eliminate some of the activities, we standardize some of them, we optimize or automate, and sometimes robotize the activities. And of course, based on that, we can, bring also some process automation. The third step is process automation, so which is a good transition to the next point. So here we try to see how we can robotize, how we can implement RPA, how we can automate some of the services based on the 5 senses. So here we implement the 5 senses. We are back to the 5 senses. We try to map every process that we optimized already, okay, or we standardized already, eliminate some of its activities. We try to map these processes to the 5 senses and see what kind of automation technology we should think of. This is artificial intelligence infusion with some intelligence there. Then we talk about some augmented workforce. Here, it's basically related to service area. Whenever we talk about some services, how we can break some chatbot that can conduct the services for us. This is the augmented virtual even workforce. And last step, I'm conscious of time. I will finish in 1 or 2 minutes, and I will open to the session to the questions. So the last step is the next step. which is very important. It doesn't mean that if we automated everything and robotized that we finished. No, we have to ask this type of questions. Where can I learn more about artificial intelligence and automation? And who we can contact, to learn more about this specific automation. And this is to make a link with what I have said earlier: automation, transformation never ends. So this is the point. So before closing, I would like just to show you in 2 minutes how Capgemini presents today all of these assets and the added value it can bring to our customers. So quickly, I'm showing the video, and we can open the session for questions. Rita, I'm sorry, I'm taking maybe 2 or 3 minutes more than what was expected. Let me know if you cannot hear the voice.
New automation technologies present exciting opportunities and promise massive efficiency savings, new careers, and more customers. While expectations are huge, projects sometimes falter as they scale up and fail to deliver the expected result. Capgemini's intelligent process automation enhances your business operations at scale with automated end-to-end processes and a digitally augmented workforce underpinned and infused with RPA, AI, and smart analytics, all of which deliver a range of tangible outcomes, including improved accuracy and quality, increased workforce productivity, enhanced operational efficiency, improved client satisfaction, increased revenue, and enhanced agility across your front, middle, and back office. Intelligent process automation puts your clients' core business challenges and goals at the heart of our solution. Using a unique modular approach consisting of 6 pillars that help to drive the adoption of intelligent automation. This truly differentiating approach provides advice, capability, operational know-how, and innovation, all predicated on a foundation pillar: Capgemini's Augmented Delivery Center, which enables you to fulfill your automation ambitions, scale up operations, enjoy the benefits of sustainable automation, and pursue capability, growth, and innovation. As part of Capgemini's unique and holistic Perform AI portfolio, our award-winning intelligent process automation is a combined and digitally augmented workforce of human and machine skills that positively impacts business results right across your organization. How do we know? Because we are already doing it for many of the world's leading companies. In the finance and accounting department, we've reduced transaction processing time by 95%. For the HR department, we've reduced the cost of service by 40%. And for the supply chain, we've improved demand planner productivity by more than 20%. But don't just take our word for it. We are ranked as leaders in intelligent automation by the world's leading analysts, and we've won awards for the work we've done with our clients. Intelligent process automation enhances your business operations with automated end-to-end processes and a digitally augmented workforce to deliver an unprecedented level of process intelligence to your organization. Find out more at www.capgemini.com/IP.
All right. Thank you. I'm really sorry I exceeded the time.
No problem. It's fine. So we'll wait a few minutes to see if anyone has a question. You are welcome to ask your questions in the chat. There is no question so far. I think people's brain Brains are freezing now that we're close to the end of the day.
Must be. Well, I hope that it was clear, and you have my contact. So I believe this will be shared later.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there will be. Oh, we have a question. So how can we use the intelligent automation in smart grids to optimize the energy consumption? More research oriented. Does the same process apply?
That's a good question. So in smart grids or whatever the typical area we are talking about, again, intelligent automation. Please remember this. It's not a question to jump in directly into this technological solution. You have seen here in the presentation so many steps there before going into the technological solution, and we try to analyze, we try to map some of these processes to specific sense, and based on that, on the market there are relevant solutions to this automation, and this is how you can develop some intelligence, and yes, the same process can be applied to this specific case as well for the energy consumption as well. So energy consumption, if we would like to talk about it, we need to understand how, first of all, we measure this energy utilization, how it is, the data is captured about this energy consumption, how we can share this data with the consumer, how the consumer is reading this data, how he's understanding this data. And then we can think about some automated processes there. I hope that I answered the question for Safa.
We have another question. How broad is the range of AI techniques used in IPA? These days, when people say AI, everybody thinks deep learning or machine learning, but there is more to that in AI.
That's a good question. So yes, artificial intelligence, we talk about deep learning, machine learning, but I have shown also a feature that is very important in artificial intelligence, which is analytics. So this is the power of artificial intelligence. So we can keep this deep learning, machine learning in a continuous way, but we need to have some analytics skills as well. And this is where today we human beings, are still, strong compared to artificial intelligence and can bring added value. But we need to have these analytic skills, capabilities integrated to artificial intelligence to bring the right value for our clients.
I think that's it. We don't have any other questions.
Okay.
Okay, so I think we can stop here. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation, and thank you for this interesting presentation. The recording of the video will be available on YouTube, and people will still be able to watch it. You can follow us on Facebook or Instagram to be aware of our next future talks. And if you missed any of our talks, they are still available on YouTube. Thank you so much, Mr. Mehdi, and have a nice day.
Thank you, everyone, and take good care.